Can a burger kill you? Yes and no. It's not sentient, so it's not like it's going to jump off of the plate and attack you, although it could choke you, or you could choke on it rather. But then whose fault is that really? Yours or the burger's? Anyways, the WHO, the World Health Organization, report that the burden of foodborne diseases are caused by various agents: bacteria, viruses, parasites, toxins, and chemicals. They state that each year, as many as 600 million, or almost 1 in 10 people in the world, fall ill after consuming contaminated food. Of these, 420,000 people die, including 125,000 children under the age of 5 years. The other day, I got sick from eating an undercooked hamburger. It was my own doing because I was in a rush. It did taste great though. The days following, I had severe diarrhea. Super bad, like super runny, gross, not nice. And I needed antibiotics to restore my health. It got me thinking, why the hell do people order hamburgers medium, or red, or any other variation other than well done? It's crazy. In today's video, I want to explore these very reasons and come to a conclusion about the safety of eating undercooked burgers. So, to start, why do people eat undercooked meat? For one, it can be to retain flavour and moistness in the meat. When you cook a steak, for example, a lot of myoglobin and water will seep out of the meat. Undercooking the steak won't force the liquid to escape. It can also be a preferred textural element. Normally, it's understood that a steak cooked well done might be a bit chewier. This is because the proteins in the meat have retracted and warped due to being heated for an extended period of time. So people who don't want to chew their meat a lot can order something undercooked. The caveat being that obviously different cuts of meat have different chewiness levels. Yes, that's a technical term. Don't argue with me. Thanks. Then there's the fad factor. Some chefs are swayed to undercook meat because rawness and near rawness is seen as somehow superior. Additionally, there are some that claim that raw meat is superior to cooked meat in regards to nutritional value and health. However, there's little evidence to reach a strong conclusion as to whether the benefits of eating raw meat outweigh the possible risks. Here are some common raw meat dishes from around the world. Steak tartare, minced raw beef steak with egg yolk, onions and spices. Tuna tartare, chopped undercooked tuna or raw tuna mixed with herbs and spices. Carpaccio, a dish from Italy made of thinly sliced raw beef or fish. Met, a German dish of uncooked minced pork that's flavored with salt, pepper, and garlic, or caraway. Sushi, a Japanese dish consisting of rolls that contain cooked rice and often raw fish. Ceviche, minced raw fish cured with citrus juice and seasonings. I've actually done a ceviche recipe on this channel, so if you want to check the recipe out, here's the link now. And finally, torisashi, a Japanese dish of thin chicken strips briefly cooked on the outside and raw on the inside. Me personally, I'm not going to touch that Japanese dish. That seems a bit risky. And I'll explain why later on. When is it safe to eat undercooked meat? It's safe to eat undercooked meat when it has been stored in safe conditions and has been purchased from a reputable supplier. Safe conditions would include being stored at the correct temperature to avoid bacterial growth and being stored away from other meats to prevent cross-contamination. It must be prepared for consumption in a similar fashion, with safety in mind. Meat should be stored in the coldest part of the refrigerator. As storage temperatures approach 4.5 degrees Celsius, perishability increases, rapid growth of bacteria begins, at about 10 degrees Celsius. The ideal temperature for the storage of fresh meat is between 1 and 4 degrees. In my case, the burger was minced meat, meaning the outer layer had been mixed up with the inside of the meat, exposing all the meat to potential bacteria. I think I didn't cook it long enough because I was in such a rush, and so I didn't kill all the bacteria inside. When we cook a steak, on the other hand, we are searing the outer layer, killing any harmful bacteria with heat. The reason we can eat a steak undercooked is because harmful bacteria cannot penetrate deeper into the tissue. Whereas a chicken, for example, has much more porous tissue membranes, which is why almost no one eats chicken undercooked. Because the membranes are porous, the bacteria can penetrate them easier. Why can undercooked meat be fatal? So, as we established earlier, bacteria, viruses, parasites, toxins, and chemicals are the main causes. Eating undercooked meat or food in general can be dangerous. Diarrheal diseases are responsible for more than half of the global burden of foodborne diseases, causing 550 million people to fall ill and 230,000 deaths every year. Children are at particular risk of foodborne diarrheal diseases, with 220 million falling ill and 96,000 dying every year. This is due to their weakened or not fully developed immune systems. Diarrhea is often caused by eating raw or undercooked meat, eggs, fresh produce, and dairy products contaminated by the big offenders: norovirus, Campylobacter, non-typhoidal salmonella, and pathogenic E. coli. Other major contributors to illness are typhoid fever, hepatitis, tapeworms, and aflatoxin. This is produced by mold on grain that is not stored appropriately. Certain diseases, such as those caused by non-typhoidal salmonella, are a public health concern across all regions of the world, in high and low income countries alike. Other diseases such as typhoid fever, foodborne cholera, and those caused by pathogenic E. coli are much more common in low income countries, while Campylobacter is an important pathogen in high income countries. Bacteria are truly woke and do not discriminate. The risk of foodborne diseases is most severe in low and middle income countries, linked to preparing food with unsafe water, poor hygiene, inadequate conditions in food production and storage, lower levels of literacy and education, and insufficient food safety legislation or implementation of such legislation are also factors. Foodborne diseases can cause short-term symptoms such as nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea, commonly referred to as food poisoning, but can also cause longer-term illnesses such as cancer, kidney or liver failure, brain and neural disorders. These diseases may be more serious in children, pregnant women, and those who are older or have weakened immune systems. Children who survive some of the more serious foodborne diseases may suffer from delayed physical and mental development, seriously impacting their quality of life permanently. You are also more likely to get food poisoning from a restaurant than in your own home. Usually, this is because the staff cooking in the restaurant are under time constraints and need to prepare and cook your food quickly. Because of this, sometimes corners are cut. These could be hygiene issues, cross-contamination, or undercooking dishes, like in my case. Whereas if you were cooking in your own home, you have control over how long you cook your food for, and you don't want to make yourself sick, so you usually take more care in how you prepare food for yourself versus others. So, conclusions. I think do whatever the hell you want. Just be safe about it. Consume and buy your meat from a reputable source that has good hygiene ratings and is reliable. Calculate risk. If you've bought from a good dealer and handled the meat well, it should be safe enough to eat. Lastly, have a plan B. Have some medicine at the ready in case you feel ill. Hopefully, if you do get ill, it should pass with little issue. If not, head to your local doctor or pharmacy and ask for advice, which is what I did. Making this video has made me super hungry for steak, so I think I'm going to go treat myself to some tonight. Check out some of my other videos here, and the sources for some of the research is in the description below. Bye bye guys, thanks for watching.